part of the benefits of BYOD from an employer's perspective, if I could be so bold, is that by blending the personal business world, you're going to get more productivity. This is what the thought process is behind it. If I have to go home, open up my laptop, VPN into work to get access to email, and all of these extra steps, it might not be worth it. But if I'm on my device that I'm using to watch Netflix and I have one click away from accessing company information, I'm going to get more productivity. But that creates a real challenge. And that the blending of personal and business worlds is where you really need to have a well thought out, structured MDM solution. In a BYOD world, really because the device is unknown, you want to make sure that you're able to control it in some fashion. And there's a lot of companies out there. It's a growing market right now, mobile device management, and it's an area that I think that we all have to consider when we look at BYOD. Regardless of the device that gets brought in, you need to be able to have a secure area on that device to store your data. And should something happen, you need to be able to control that data, whether it be to wipe the data, pull back the data, or encrypt it. So when it comes to BYOD, I think hand in hand with that is a really strong mobile device management strategy. And because it really is a strategy, it does impact people's personal devices, and it needs to be well thought out, it needs to be well structured, and it needs to be supported at a very senior executive level. Now, from a privacy perspective, what we've done is we are looking at MDM. It's currently not roadmapped, even though the product and the technology is mature. We just don't really see a need for that type of investment yet. However, what we are doing is, if you bring in your own device and you're a teacher, we're giving you less access on your BYOD device than if you were using a Peel-owned device. For obvious reasons. We want to make sure that the information that you're accessing, on your BYOD device, we can control. So really, we're at a bit of a crossroads. If we allow teachers or faculty to bring the road device in, and we allow them access to private information, then we need to put a solution in place to control that, and that's MDM. And we are looking at it. Right now we do not see a need, but it's something that has to be considered. And I see this down the road, this being a requirement as BYOD really takes a foothold within Peel. So the way we've looked at our network is we have different rings of access. So really it breaks down into trusted and untrusted, both device and users. So if we walk through this, you can have a trusted user, a teacher, faculty, on a trusted device. That's something we own. We know it's got virus protection and whatnot. We can have a trusted user with an untrusted device, and that's faculty with a BYOD. We have a untrusted user, a student using our equipment, a trusted device, and then obviously you have an untrusted user, a student using their own device, BYOD. So if you put that matrix together, we actually segregate and separate our network to be able to protect accordingly. So a teacher with their own BYOD device would have more access than a student, but if they logged in with that same ID on a Peel-owned piece of equipment, they would have a lot more access. One of the things that we're focusing on, especially in Peel when it comes to BYOD, is single sign-on. So when I bring in my device, I log on the network. All of my applications that I consider to be core, I shouldn't have to remember a username or password for it. If I have 5 or 6 different usernames and passwords to be able to access different applications that are out on the internet, we're in trouble. We've now taken a class that's an hour long, 15 minutes of which is now struggling with logging into things. So for me, integration, single sign-on, and federated search are key areas that I think we need to focus on. In a BYOD world, you need to look at your policies that support information. So you need to look at in our case, we have an acceptable use policy, and the acceptable use policy needs to change to reflect the fact that, it might be a personal device. And now you're starting to blend personal and business. You need to divide it. You need to make sure that confidential information that resides on a personal device, it's still a corporate asset, and you need to be able to have access to it. And that ability to be able to reach into a personal device and to be able to control it either through a secure container, either through a secure wipe, encryption, however you want to look at it, needs to be part of a policy. You need the person to sign off that they allow that type of access. And that's why MDM is such a critical piece to an overall BYOD solution in a corporate commercial environment.